Yo, what is up, everybody? That boy E here with another video. Now, after watching the first two episodes of House of the Dragon with my girlfriend, she had a lot of unanswered questions. Being the first time watcher and not really watching or reading any of the Game of Thrones, a lot of things did not make sense to her. Like, what is the King's Guard? What is Westeros? What is Dragonstone or even the Red Keep? And these are things she keeps hearing about and has to ask me what they are. After how well my Should You Watch Game of Thrones Before House of the Dragon video did, I feel like there are a lot of people out there, just like my girlfriend, that have these simple, basic questions that other YouTubers seem that you should already know. So in this video, I'll be going over any simple questions you guys might have for first-time viewers. And if you still have questions, leave them in the comments and I will try to respond to each and every one of them. So as always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Let's hop into the video. So, I'm not going to try to make anyone feel dumb for not knowing these things because we all been there, and it's very hard to learn because it's so much detail into everything. So I'm going to try and relate the stuff in the show to our everyday life. So, first question she had was, what is Westeros? Well, Westeros is the place where most of the story takes place. Think of it kind of like USA. Now, I know it's very big in the show and the books, but it might get a little confusing if I say it's a continent. So for this video's purpose, we're going to think of it like USA. Now, when it comes to King's Landing and Dragonstone, think of these as states. King's Landing being Washington, D.C., well, that is a state, but you know what I'm talking about. And of Dragonstone being kind of like New Jersey. Now, let's focus on King's Landing. We have the place where all the royalty lives, which is called the Red Keep. Think of this kind of like the White House. Now, along with King's Landing, we have Dragonstone. There are other places in Westeros, but I won't go into detail about them in this video, but just know that everyone basically has a ruler. Now, we also hear a lot about the Triarchy and the Free Cities. So, the Free Cities are in this place called Essos, across from Westeros. So, it's Essos and Westeros. Or we could think of Essos in this video like Europe. And the three cities in Europe are joined up to take control of the place called the Stepstones, which is basically an island between Westeros and Essos. So let's recap. Westeros is like North America or the USA. Dragonstone and King's Landing are like the States, and the Red Keep is like the White House. The free cities are like Europe, and the Triarchy are three cities from Europe that join together to cause havoc on the Stepstones. Now, if you want me to go into more detail about this, let me know, because it's a lot more to talk about with the pirates and stepstones, but for this video, I'm going to keep it simple and sweet. Now, let's talk about the armies. We keep hearing the King's Guard, the Golden Cloaks, and the City's Watch, but what are they? Well, if we were thinking of King's Landing as DC, the King's Guard are like the Secret Service, with their only task to protect the royal family. Now, the City Watch are basically the police that are supposed to protect everyone. And the Golden Cloaks are the City's Watch, but are just basically wearing gold. I know. That's simple. And they are also led by one of the main characters, Daemon Targaryen. Now, let's go over last names real quick. In the show Game of Thrones and House of the Dragons, the last names mean a lot. It means if a person is highborn or lowborn. If they're in line for being king, or in line for basically working at a tavern. If you're from India, think of it like class or status. We haven't seen that many families yet, and all the main ones we're seeing are highborn. But when King Daemon tells the King Viserys he's to be wed, the hand Otto Hightower gets offended because she's a low-born lady. Okay, so let's answer some more questions you guys might have. Like, what is a maester? What is a Lord Commander? What is Dornish? Well, we're going to see a lot of maesters in the show, mostly the Grand Maester. Now, maesters are tough to explain, but just basically think of them like the doctors of this era, but also have tasks of keeping all the histories in the books. Sort of like doctors mixed with teachers and scientists all in one. I know, it's a lot, but just think of them like the wise old folks that are here to help with everything. Now, we touched on the King's Guard. Now let's talk about the Lord Commander. And the Lord Commander is simply the leader of them. So we hear the word Dornish mentioned a couple times with Christian Cole, but what does it mean? It's very simple. Dornish means they're from the place called Dorne. Now let's talk about the big boy, the ancient land of Valyria. So what is Valyria? Well, Valyria was an old city in Essos, so in Europe, that burned to the ground. Why do we hear them talk about it so often? Well, the two major groups of the show, the Targaryens and the Valyrians, are from the ancient city of Valyria, and they are the only two families to live from Valyria's volcano eruptions. I can also make a more detailed video on this if you guys would like, but the city basically burned to the ground, and the only two families escaped in the time, the Targaryens and the Valyrians, and they both came from Essos or Europe to the Westeros or USA. And they first landed in Dragonstone, and that's why you will hear that being their ancestral home. I know it's a lot, but if you have any questions, please ask me down below. Now, these are just a few questions I could think of. If you have any more, please leave them down below. Also, if you want me to make a video going over each episode, let me know. But thank you so much for watching. Peace out.